The most important step of investing, that's what I'm talking about today. My name's Jeff Beers. This is the 40 Finance channel. Let's take a look. So the most important part of investing is not working against yourself. There's a lot of people that just want to jump into investing without a plan, start putting money off to the side to make stock purchases, retirement purchases, etc. That's not necessarily a bad idea. The more saving, the better. But what often you see folks fail to look at is where their money is leaking across the board in other areas. So all the money that they're saving towards investing is going to get XYZ returns. But meanwhile, underneath all the accounts, you have money coming out of the household that serves absolutely no purpose. So the gains you make in the stock market or investing are getting diluted. So when I'm talking about money leaks, I'm talking about credit cards, car loans, student loans, unnecessary charges. This is the bulk of the ones that I could think of off the top of my head. These are all things that are costing you money. If you have credit card debt of any kind, whether it's $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is, the interest rates on credit cards are so high, there's almost no way you can beat those rates with stock market or investing returns. So if your interest rate on your credit card is 15% and you're putting money into the stock market that earns on average 8%, you actually would have been better off putting that money towards credit card debt and bringing it down, because that's what's costing you the most money. So look at your high interest debts, pay those first. Don't even save money. If you want to have a rainy day fund, I think that makes a lot of sense. Maybe make it in tandem with paying off high interest credit card debt, but you've got to stop those leaks before you bother investing. Car loans, some are good, some are bad. We all need transportation. But how much more are you paying for a car outside of your transportation needs? So if you bought a Cadillac Escalade or something of that caliber for $800 a month on the lease, you know that more than likely, if you've got a Cadillac Escalade, you can probably pare down to another size SUV, still haul the kids around, would not pay a premium for a luxury brand, especially if you're making payment. If you do have a low interest car loan, say 3%, which I think is what I have on one of mine right now, that's not too expensive. You can beat that interest in the stock market, but you just need to make sure you're not throwing extra money away on features within a car that don't really suit your needs, right? So if you don't need leather interior, all the different gadgets and gizmos that come in new cars, then don't pay for those things. Bring the price of the car down. You can still have a nice car. We all need transportation. I personally really like SUVs, and for a family of 5, they come in handy. So I pay hundreds of dollars a month on our Chevy Tahoe. The interest rate is very low. There is warranties that I didn't get with the car that I traded in for that. So I thought it out, right? I didn't just go overboard. And that's really the lesson here. If you've got a sports car, you got a Porsche when you could really be driving an Accord, maybe you need to think about how you could cut down your car expenses so that you can invest and make better returns. Student loans is another one where it's not going to go away, and it's not going to make a lot of sense to be investing while you're making student loan payments. While interest rates have gone down, you're still better off just getting out of that world completely before you start building for the future. So let's work on getting rid of the money we owe other people before we pay ourselves, and that's going to make a lot more sense in the long term. Unnecessary charges is another one I think every single person has, including myself. It could be cable, it could be excessive phone plans, it could be a Netflix you don't use, you name it. There are subscriptions and charges that we don't need to pay for, but we have to take the time to call the 1-800 number and get rid of them. Once you start adding $50 chunks of savings off your monthly bills each month, it really does start to add up. Grocery store is another one where it's really easy to buy a bunch of stuff you don't need, and look at generic brands, look at other alternatives that might cost less, and maybe even just coming down and understanding how much food you eat and eliminating waste is another great way to take money off the grocery bill without really changing your eating habits. Just not throwing food away because it gets spoiled is a simple way to save. And lastly, on unnecessary charges, we have to look at where our money is and make sure we're not paying too much for ATM fees, investing commissions, loads on mutual funds in our retirement accounts. Wherever we can dig a little deeper and find alternatives that take off those fees, the more money we're going to have in our pocket to either pay off high interest loan expenses or start investing for the future. So that's it, guys. The most important step of investing is eliminating your money leaks before you try to make gains with your investments. If you're not sure where your money's going, if you don't know how your money's leaking out, then it's not going to do you a lot of good to try to make money in the stock market or through investing when money's leaking out in these other areas like credit cards and unnecessary charges. Hope you enjoyed this video. My name's Jeff Beers. This is 40 Finance. We'll see you on the next video.